and then we cut to my favorite character and
the coroner
setting in this entire film. The
mad scientist, Dr. Moreau, coroner,
Dr. Sigmund Stein.
Dr. Stein?
Steen. Dr. Sigmund Steen.
Is it an insane coroner who I think is wearing a spacesuit from the 1950s, like a Flash Gordon spacesuit?
You're here to see your sister Gabrielle. Great looking corpse. Perhaps the most perfect female specimen I have ever seen.
That's very rude.
Hello, welcome to the 198th episode. Good, Bad, or Bad Show. Watch terrible. Kyle, move the mic closer to your face. Perfect. Show Watch Television should do. I'm your host, Mr. Ryan Chiligo, joined once again by the other host, Mr. Kyle Hinton.
Why'd this movie need to get made?
I don't know, but I'm glad it did, Kyle. This movie, crazy. Well, I gotta bleep that. We're too early in the episode still for F-bombs, but. Yes, hello, welcome back. This episode, last episode, I did a little, an 80s classic.
Hell comes to Frog Town.
We're going to Frog Town.
Hell comes to Frog Town. Starring wrestling superstar, Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Pretty much a classic Good, Bad, or Bad film that everybody's heard of, starring Rowdy Roddy Piper.
This is a film that nobody's heard of.
Absolutely not. But some people probably have now because, so the reason we did this film, the reason I had heard of it was that I saw that they did it on a No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast, which is Colin and April, their podcast, friends with April and Colin on Twitter, and they didn't recommend it to us specifically because every now and then they will reach out and be like, you guys should do this one. Like if they have one, like I think Fight of Fury, one of the Fight of Fury or one of those or the sword. No, it was the one with, was the one with the. Was it Fight of Fury? The one with
I think it's Fight of Fury. Yeah.
Sunny B or not
Shuni B.
Shuni B. Yeah, that one. They recommended that to us, like on Twitter. Like
one.
April messaged me. It was like, you should listen to, or you guys should watch this movie. This one I just happened to see on their feed for the podcast, and I didn't actually listen to the episode. I just saw the title and I was like, what is that? And then I went and watched it. Like I saw it was on YouTube. Went and watched like 30 seconds in the middle.
Oh boy!
I was like, we're doing this. Absolutely. So yes, this one comes courtesy of No Such Thing as a Bad Movie Pod. Go check them out if you haven't. Great podcast. But the film is called Vegas, City of Dreams.
In the City of Dreams, if you play,
I'm in the mood for love, baby. I'm in the mood for love.
you pay.
So supposedly this film came out in 2001. Is that what it says on IMDb? Yeah. And what this movie is, we'll get into it. It's crazy because it feels like a made-for-TV movie.
Yes,
but it's you know what it could have been? It could have been like a Showtime or like a Cinemax.
That's what I was thinking, like Showtime for sure.
Yeah, like a Cinemax.
It has a couple of hallmarks of like network television to it.
Yes, like the lighting. Well, not even that. That's not network television, but the lighting.
Sometimes even how some of the stuff is cut. Yeah, because it's kind of sporadic.
It's very interesting, but yeah, it definitely felt to me like like a Cinemax movie or something, which would totally make sense because so we watched it on YouTube and we'll get into it in a second, but I'm pretty sure quite a bit was edited out of the YouTube version, I think. But anyways,
probably.
So as the film I can't really even explain anything else about this, but as the film opens up, the opening credit title card, we open up over like Vegas, and it says a Howard Rourke inspiration, and I was like, that is what the. And I thought initially that was a like the director or writer's name, like a joint or whatever.
Based off a novel or something?
No, well, I don't think it is. But Howard Rourke is the main character in The Fountainhead, and I don't know if that has anything to do with this at all. But so initially, I thought this was I thought the Howard Rourke was like the director, and it was like a Spike Lee joint, a Howard Rourke inspiration. Yeah. Which is super cringe way to say that. But anyways, I don't know what that is. Maybe it is somehow. I've never read The Fountainhead. Maybe it's an allusion to that. I don't know. the opening titles and credits music it's pretty good. It's pretty classic. Like, and the thing that's crazy too is that 2001 I guess feels right, but this movie is like lost in time.
It feels old. It feels older than 2001.
It feels older, but also doesn't at the same.
Yes.
It's such a weird movie. I can't get over how weird it is. But anyway, so we open up, and after the titles, we come in to some rich asshole drinking wine and doing blow, baby. And I was like, all right.
I'm in the mood for love, baby. I'm in the mood for love.
So this is John Taylor.
Yes.
For anybody
the
who
actor, the person.
He's from the band Duran Duran. I
Yes.
guess this is him making his foray into acting.
He goes for it, let me tell you.
My God. And my favorite part of it is I know he's British.
Yes.
But he sounds so much like an American
doing a
British accent.
He absolutely sounds like he's putting on a fake British accent.
Lord Byron, I have admired you from afar for as long as I can remember. You possess all I wish and all I wish to possess. Do you desire a mistress or a friend?
It's incredible. His character's name, by the way,
is Byron Lord.
Which is the worst. It's so stupid.
Oh God, it's so blunt that even at the end of the film,
they completely come out with it. It becomes like part of the actual meta narrative or narrative. Honestly, it's very strange.
Mistress, baby, meet me at the Ritz tomorrow at midnight. Medora Lee. The lady is a scholar.
But anyway, so he's sitting there having some wine and blow with some beautiful young lady, and then he comes over to her and he's like, "This has aroused I'm ready to make love," or whatever.
Some would say he's hungry like a wolf.
Oh no! How many of those did you cook up?
I got at least 4 I can dig out here.
Fantastic. But he comes over to her and he's like, "I'm in the mood for love," and then it just cuts, and then there's a random woman walking into the room, and I was like,
I'm in the mood for love, baby. I'm in the mood for love.
Hello.
And so the woman he was talking to is naked, covering her chest.
It was very uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable. And some other random woman walks in. I was like, wait, what just happened? And I was like, okay, surely what happened here is there's a non-YouTube edit of this where they have sex for a few minutes or something. And there's too much gratuitous nudity.
It's the Anna Nicole Smith thing, right?
Yes. Yeah, we got to immediately, moment one, if this is a late night Cinemax movie, assuming, or something like that, we got to have sex nudity in the first 2 minutes of the film. Like, they
paid it for this stuff.
Yes,
go.
Exactly. I assume
it's like paying for HBO and not getting boobs.
Fair, sure. But so they really hit it hard, I assume. But it gets cut in the YouTube edit because it's very confusing. All of a sudden, there's some other random woman walking into the room, and you're like, where did this come from? But he goes, "Oh, I want you to get a massage."
You deprive yourself the pleasure of a massage?
A massage?
Yes, my dear. Raven is a masseuse, and a spectacularly good one, I might add.
And this new lady is a massage person, and then he's like, massager, and then she kind of like rubs her shoulders for a few minutes awkwardly, and it just the other girl looks very uncomfortable the whole time, and then he's like, "That's good enough, you can leave." It's like, what is happening here? It's so strange. And again, I think some of the weird choppiness here is editing out sex, nudity, stuff like that would be my guess.
Thank you, my dear. That'll be all for now.
Thank you.
But anyways, he says, "My darling Gabrielle." This is where we learn her name is Gabrielle, Gabby.
My darling Gabrielle.
And then after the massage lady leaves, who also appears to be a prostitute, I guess it probably is the idea. She leaves, and then Byron Lord and Gabrielle have the most awkward standing sex of all time.
We shall have coitus vertically.
The logistics, I don't think the maths, man. I just don't think it does. As I'm watching, I was like, I don't think the angles there work at all. Also, I'm pretty sure they're both wearing clothes.
I like Brian. Like Brian's watching this, and it's just like the Hangover meme with all the math and shit.
It's just like I'm like a fucking algebraic equations in my head trying to figure out angles, and I'm like, I don't think that doesn't seem super feasible, but I don't know. And then she goes to leave, or he goes to take a shower, and she's gonna leave. And as she's walking out, this is insane, Kyle.
So he has a camera in his shower, a webcam in his shower.
Is it in his shower?
I think so.
Brilliant. With the resulting dip in earnings, I'd say the stock will be taking quite a hit.
But he's doing a deal.
I missed that. That's crazy.
Is it
I believe you.
Chinese company? Or
I don't know.
like
some
that?
Other people. Yeah, some business guys.
And we're like, oh my god, they're doing illicit activity because a money gauge is going up.
Well, she walks and sees this laptop sitting there, and the business thing's happening on it. And I'm like, why? And I guess it makes some sense if he's doing it in the shower, like if there's a camera in the shower, because I was like, why does he have that open while he's in the shower?
Look how booked this guy's time is. He had to squeeze in a schedule to bring this woman up, hire a masseuse, get her tension worked out or whatever, get his tension worked out. Some would say he's come undone. But he's in such a tight schedule that he has to take a work call in his shower that he has a webcam set up for.
It's utterly insane. I cannot stress enough. And I love she just sits there and watches it forever. I'm like, just leave. Just you know this guy's bad news. Just get the fuck out of there. What are you doing? But she stands there forever looking at it, and then he comes up behind her and is like, he's like, I see whatever. Doesn't matter. So now she's got caught because he's of his spying on his illegal business stuff or whatever.
You, my dear, are in no condition to drive.
Given your history.
He has his men take her out to the Hoover Dam. I'm pretty sure it's literally the Hoover Dam. Yeah.
It's like, okay, so you want to get rid of a body in one of the most famous landmarks in the U.S.
Well, to be fair, they stage a suicide. Is what they do. But you would think there probably is better options than just like dumping her in the reservoir like that tons of people like visit and stuff like that, but sure.
Yeah?
Put the informant on.
Yeah. I believe this is for you.
Also, I've never been to the Hoover Dam. I think I might have seen I can't remember. I don't remember being at the Hoover Dam. But this scene's very awkward. They get there, also cracks me up. This is, you know how everybody in modern days complains about lighting in modern movies and about how everything is too dark or everything and like or they don't use enough light.
This is like it's nighttime, so they're like blasting the
floodlights blasting everywhere and this parking lot that they're
so
parked
ridiculous.
in.
Whenever we were doing Gone Girl, Kyle gets
we were doing Gone Girl.
Yeah. Anyways. They had a
you and David.
Yeah, exactly. I say, hey, Dave,
hey, Dave.
Light's good. A 10K light out.
Yeah.
That is insane. You couldn't be within 3 feet or like 10 feet of that thing without catching fire.
Yeah.
But they had a 10K light out to light a nighttime scene. It was nuts.
Yeah, it wasn't a 10K, but it was something in the vicinity. I did a commercial where it was raining. It was overcast and raining. But it was raining off and on, but we needed to shoot an exterior, like real briefly, of somebody walking into a building, but it needed to not look like a rainy, cloudy, ugly day. So we
too bad.
Not too bad. We put this giant. I was an 10, I can't remember what it was. Something in the vicinity of a 10K up, blasted it, and it looked like a sunny day. Like it's
a light that's gonna take like 10 minutes to warm up and actually work.
Yeah.
And you're not touching that thing for like 2 hours after it's done.
Oh yeah, it's a whole deal. But anyway, so they have her there, and then they're like torturing. They're like, we're gonna kill you, and then she's like, no, don't kill. And then he calls her. He calls her on the phone. The bad guy calls her on the phone on her cell phone, and it's like, hi, I just wanted to say goodbye because I'm killing you. The end. And also during that call, he claims she's an undercover cop. That's just him saying something, right? Because that never comes to fruition in any way
unless it was cut out. But yeah,
you're a cop, a bloody undercover cop.
Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't miss something where it's revealed that she was I don't think that's the case. I think he just says that because he like suspects she is or something. I don't know.
But they inject her with heroin.
They inject her with heroin, and then they throw her off this cliff
in the greatest green screen ever.
So good of her falling. It's incredible. But the thing that's crazy to me is like, where was she falling? Because when they pull up, and again, I have not been to the Hoover Dam, is what I'm saying. They pull up, they're at the bottom.
Yeah,
of
they're in the bottom part of the reservoir.
See it you can see the Hoover Dam behind them.
Yeah.
But then they throw her off a thing, and she
like,
falls for
like,
an eternity.
1,000 feet.
And lands in a lake. But then later, when the sister, one sister goes to the reservoir, we see her standing in the exact place that they were.
Well, you see, Brian, as you're falling
and she's like
to your
4
death,
feet from the water.
Perspectively, time slows down.
That must have been what it was. That must have been what it was. Oh, God. Because, yeah, it looks like, I don't understand. I think they just needed her to fall. But
reality could seem more relative to our ordinary world.
Get them all out of the way. You said you got 4. That's 3 already. You're making quick work of them.
I can't believe it's already Christmas. It's another year. Where do they all go?
So she's dead. And then we cut back, and now we're in a nice, delightful home. And surprise, it's Joe Don Baker.
Yeah, it's freaking walking tall.
Why don't you move back home? I mean, New York City is so far away. You got taxi cabs and bad weather, rude people. I'm glad to be out of there.
Yeah. Joe Don Baker is there, and he is the father of these 3 girls. Four girls, yeah. Gabrielle, the one who's
4 minus 1.
Yes, Gabrielle, who they call Gabby, the one who just died. Jessica, who's the other brunette, and then I don't remember the other one's names. There's 2 blondes. Because one of them I called the actress's name. Anyways, so he's the father of these girls, including the one that was just murdered. Also, this is a Christmas movie, spoiler.
Yeah. What?
Surprise.
Okay.
Could have done this for Christmas. But one of the blonde daughters, the main one that I recognized, who is a reporter, I called her Erica the whole time because that's the actress's name, is Erica Eleniak. She's actually been, I was like, I recognize her from something. She's been in a movie we did. She was like the main lead in Dracula 3000.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Casper Van Dien.
Okay.
Yeah. Which makes sense because guess who else shows up later?
Tiny Lister,
Tiny
baby!
Lister makes an appearance later. Yeah.
Everything is connected.
Yep, absolutely. So we're introduced to her by the rest of her family's at her home. And they're like, oh, look, she's on TV. And they turn the TV on, and she's doing the most insane news report I've ever heard in my life.
And perhaps this pope, more than any other, symbolizes the Catholic Church's quest for achieving peace and the utilization of the power and the influence of the Church on this holiest of days.
She's like, the Catholic Church. It's a news report about how the Catholic Church is awesome, which I've never heard a news report. It's so strange. She's like, Pope John Paul II, he's amazing.
Well, they're also like, what could be, this is 2000, 2001, roughly.
2000, yeah.
Let's say 2000 when it was shot, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, what could be his last Christmas, mass or whatever. I'm like, he died like 5 years after this. Like, what? Okay.
Well, they didn't know. He was getting up there at that point. He was an old guy. But yeah, such a crazy news report. But then she walks in and she's like, oh, hey, it's me. Hi, guys, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they're all like, oh, where's Gabby? Well, she'll show up. She's just running late or something.
Where's Gabby? Is she here yet?
No, you know your sister. Has she ever been on time? No.
We cut back to the reservoir that day. And
yes,
there's a father and son.
The father and son, this kid angles up a corpse. Which
Hold on,
is
we need to talk about what they're fishing. They're fishing on a fucking insane houseboat, Kyle.
Yes.
They're not on a fishing boat. They're on. He's like, we go fishing every Christmas. This is our tradition. We go fishing every Christmas in this lake.
My boy and I were fishing here Christmas Day, like we've done ever since he was 3.
But the boat they're fishing, it's a fucking houseboat.
And also, why are they fishing at the lower part of that area of Lake Mead or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, you want to be up in the upper reservoir of Lake Mead. That's where all the, that's
I don't know. I've never fished there, so I'll take your word for it. But I just blowing my mind that they're in a fucking houseboat. It's so weird. It's so strange.
But you also wouldn't have to fight the current.
Whatever. It's just insane. But he hauls up a whopper. Turns out to be fucking the corpse of Gabby.
Come on, get it up there. Do it some more.
And then we cut back home, and they think, oh, they're like, Gabby, she's still not here. Knock on the door. They're like, oh, it must be her. Open the door.
These cops are the worst when it comes to
homicide detectives.
Yeah, they introduce themselves as the homicide detectives.
Yeah.
And then they're like, is Gabrielle your daughter? I'm like, well, I guess we can put two things together here.
Yeah.
Like, guys aren't going to do any kind of subtlety at all?
They're just like, is Gabrielle your daughter? She's dead.
And is Gabrielle Garrett your daughter?
Yes.
Sir, I'm terribly sorry, but I'm here to inform you that her body's been found.
The girl's dead. It's like, okay, great. And then he immediately has a massive heart attack.
No, not my Gabby. No.
Contact Gabby!
Daddy!
Which they did set that up. I don't know if you noticed. They teased that in the scene before after he sets the turkey on the table. He sets it down. He's like, oh, it's a heavy turkey, and he's like rubbing his chest.
Pretty,
Looks
Dad.
good, Dad. Very nice.
She isn't called?
No.
When was the last time you talked to her?
Yesterday afternoon.
That's so weird.
And like, so he was already like kind of like,
Yeah.
and then this happens, and he immediately has a massive heart attack. But he does live. We get to the hospital. So he's actually alive, but he has to have surgery.
This is definitely, we need a name, but we can't afford to pay him very much
To be in the movie now, so he's got to be in a coma in the hospital
Yes.
for most of the film. I love we get a spinning newspaper transition.
Oh, God.
And then we cut to my favorite character and
the coroner
setting in this entire film. The
mad scientist, Dr. Moreau, coroner,
Dr. Sigmund Stein.
Looking for the king of genetic engineering and autopsies too. But I don't do weddings.
Dr. Stein?
Steen. Dr. Sigmund Steen.
Is it an insane coroner who I think is wearing a spacesuit from the 1950s, like a Flash Gordon spacesuit? They get there to talk to him. The sisters go to investigate because they're like,
well, they also have to identify them.
That's right. I think at this point they're just identifying it. Yeah. So they go there to identify like the whatever, and they get there, and he's insane. He's like doing this like German accent kind of thing, and he's like, your sister's corpse is the perfect female specimen. And they're like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
That seems rude. No, it's a compliment.
Great looking corpse. Perhaps the most perfect female specimen I have ever seen.
That's very rude.
On the contrary, it's a compliment of the highest order.
The highest
order. It's quite extraordinary.
So I love him and his performance because it's unhinged and incredible. I also love the lighting in this scene because they are blasting lights through these fans on the wall behind him, and there's just blue and green light everywhere. So again, you know how people complain all the time the modern movies are just too muddy and gray and boring, and this movie is just nothing but color and gels and shit everywhere. It's kind of amazing. It also kind of looks like dog shit, but I think part of it is that it was filmed digitally.
It's
probably
also very flat. This film tends to be very flat.
Parts of it do, and I think that what is going on there is I think what happened maybe is that it's filmed on pretty cheap cameras. Like, I think it's maybe like filmed digitally, like on early digital cameras, and it's not on film. And in order to get a good exposure on stuff, because like those sensors on early digital cameras were shit, you just blast everything full of light and color to make it look kind of interesting, but it also still, because of the quality of the cameras, everything's still kind of flat and not super interesting looking. Again, I can't get over this scene. It's incredible. I love, he has this incredible line where he's like, I found sperm in her love canal. And I'm like, he's so insane. It's incredible.
I found sperm in her love canal.
So you're saying our sister had intercourse with someone before she supposedly killed herself?
Meanwhile, we cut back, and I could not care less about this, so I'm only going to mention it like once or twice. Byron Lord is talking to some business people about there's some business subplot. Who cares? Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Like he's doing something with his business to manipulate the market or something. It doesn't fucking matter. It's not interesting.
Capitalism.
It's not interesting at all. Who cares?
Vegas is booming. Gaming stocks are up 22% in the last calendar year, and we're down 60, and we haven't even taken the bloody write down yet.
So then they're doing their investigations. They all go out to do like different parts. So the other brunette sister, Jessica, I believe is her name. She goes to the quarry or the reservoir by the Hoover Dam to like look around. And while she's there, she meets the father and son who are fishing, and the kid has her cell phone.
Yes, found her cell phone.
That cell phone. Where'd you get it?
I found it on the ground by the cliffs.
And this is the most believable thing in this movie, that her Nokia phone from the year 2000 survived falling 8,000 feet off a cliff. Absolutely. Because she gets it home and is able to charge it up and it works.
Yeah.
And she's able to make a call on it. And I was like, yeah, no.
Put that in some rice first.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing.
No. Thank you.
So she finds the phone there. Then, meanwhile, the reporter friend, Erica, that actress, I can't remember what her character's name is. She goes to a strip club that apparently they found out that her sister used to go to something.
She had friends there?
Yeah, had friends there or something like that. So she goes to the strip club, and I also love the strip club owner and the scene. It's kind of incredible.
This guy, I think he's a well-known strip club owner guy on the strip or whatever, because I think he's one of the few people that has like a notable credit.
We already got too many girls here. You might want to try one of the other clubs.
I'm not a stripper. I'm a reporter. I just want to ask you a couple questions.
Oh, you mean like that this guy actually is?
Joe Rosie or something?
Oh.
Rossi or something like that?
So you mean he's not an actor? He's like playing himself, basically?
Think so, yeah.
That's kind of incredihow. But so she gets to the strip club, and this is, so obviously they couldn't get all the boobs out of the movie because there are quite a few boobs in this scene throughout. But they have this whole thing, and this guy talks like Rodney Dangerfield.
Yes.
You know, they get hurt, and then they realize that busting your ass for some queer choreographer for a lousy $100 a day wasn't exactly the stuff that dreams are made of.
Kind of amazing.
Look, it's my objective to give these women an opportunity to promote themselves.
He has some incredible lines. Like at one point, like because he's like, oh, you know, they do these Broadway shows and they're busting their ass to make $100 a day. They come here, they can make $1,000 a day. And Erica is like, well, what kind of life is that? And he goes, depends on what kind of life you want.
A lousy $100 a day wasn't exactly the stuff that dreams are made of.
And this is?
That depends on your dreams, sweetheart.
And then at the end of the scene, some random stripper comes over and sits down next to Erica and is like, do you like girls?
You like women? Thank you for your time, Mr. Rizzo. I appreciate it.
No, she's like, I'm going to leave now. Bye. It's incredible. Oh, it's so funny.
I could be wrong about that guy, but the whole atmosphere seemed like, we know a guy who owns a strip club. We need a strip club for this movie.
Yeah. Could be. It could be a very well, because it's definitely at some sort of big club or bar.
And also, like everything about it, like the way it was addressed with everything about it's like look, these girls are just wanting to entertain people in a safe environment.
He's very explicit several times that they do not do anything illegal or any sort of like prostituting or anything like that. He's like, it's all look, no touch.
Hey, I run a clean place here. If any of my girls do anything illegal, and I mean anything, I don't give a shit what it is, they're out of here.
That whole thing felt like we need to make sure this business owner is okay with us using his establishment.
Yeah, exactly.
This place is look, don't touch. It's like a museum.
Anyway, so then we cut randomly, and I don't remember this being set up. We cut to the third sister, and it turns out she's like a singer.
She's a singer, yeah.
Or something, that we're watching like a rehearsal for her show where she's singing, and for some reason
Byron Lord's just there?
Why is he there
at a rehearsal? Does this take place at the hotel that he's living at?
Maybe, I guess. I have no idea. But anyway, so he comes up and he's like, "Oh, I heard about your sister. I'm sorry." Blah blah blah. And she's like, "Oh yeah, thanks." Blah blah.
We've not had the pleasure of meeting. I'm Byron Lord.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize who you were.
Then they get home, and this is where Jessica's able to get the phone charged, makes like a star 69 or whatever, and calls the last number she called, and it goes to like the hotel that Byron is staying at. And so she needs to go investigate. But then this thing happens, which fucking made me pause the movie, rewind, and make sure I wasn't losing my mind. Kyle, she has a psychic vision?
Yes. Yes, she has psychic powers.
Jesse?
What? This comes out of nowhere. Well, because then she has like a psychic vision of, and sees like them like injecting her with heroin or whatever. And she's like, oh, I just saw something. And they're like, oh, that's crazy. Has this happened before?
I saw Gabby. What do you mean you saw Gabby?
I saw Gabby. I mean, she came to me. I saw somebody stuck a needle in her arm.
And she says it happened at the lake.
When did these images start, Jess?
At the cliffs.
And then I went back and watched, and there was a moment at the lake when she's first there where we get a flash of like what happened. But I didn't realize in that scene that it was her having a psychic vision. I thought that was just like a flashback for us, the audience.
Yes.
But no, it was her.
No, she had psychic powers.
And they're like, oh yeah, that's right, Mom was psychic. I guguess that makes sense. I'm like, what is that? What?
She's a lot like Mom was. I guess she sees things. Do you remember all that?
What is happening? It's so insane. Oh God. And then I love this because we have to. It's a bad movie staple to have a news interview that looks nothing like an actual news interview.
Yes.
Byron is talking about his business or something on the news, and he's just standing in his like foyer talking directly into a camera
with like lights blasted.
It just looks nothing like an actual news interview. It's hilarious. It's so good. Meanwhile, the blonde from Dracula goes to this like store, or not store,
it's
like a pawn shop.
Yeah, it feels like a chop shop almost
kind of thing. And I love that they found because there's a front of it's like like a cars and stuff. And she meets this guy in the front. I was like, is that facial hair real?
Are you Chico?
Who wants to know?
Because did you notice this guy has a line? He has like a single line that's like here, and then it goes like, it is insane, Kyle. It is the most insane facial hair I think I've ever seen in a movie. I don't know if it's real. I assume that's his normal facial hair.
We should see if we can style yours like that.
Oh my God, dude, it's crazy. And then he takes her in back because she says, I need to talk to whatever that guy's name is.
In the messiest office possible.
Yes, and I love they found clearly some hoarder's office because it is just packed full of junk. Yeah. And as she's walking in, did you notice the off-brand IMAX that they had, like the bright blue?
Were they bubbles?
Yeah. But they didn't look like. I swear they didn't have the Apple logo on them, unless maybe they did something to them to make them not look like Apple.
Gateway had a version of that.
I think it was a knockoff. Yeah, it looked like a knockoff of it. Anyways, it's incredible. But anyways, so she talks to him and he's like, oh yeah, you know like eBay, we're like that, but CBay. You see it, you want it, we sell it. And I'm like, that's what eBay is?
You ever hear of eBay? You know, people put weird shit up for sale, they sort of help them broker it. Well, we're sort of like CBay, you know. You see it, you want it, we get it.
What does that mean?
Well, no, we get it.
No,
they don't say how they get it.
Yes, but he also doesn't say what they sell specifically, but not drugs. It's not drugs. He just says like, oh, you sell drugs? And he's like, no.
There's no money in that.
Yeah.
What do you sell, drugs?
Hell no, there ain't no money in that.
So I don't know. I guess they're selling car parts or something. I don't know. Whatever.
Catalytic converters.
But he tells her, yeah, exactly. But he tells her, gives her some sort of information of somebody he knows. I don't remember what.
I think I got a pretty good lead on Michelle. She's got a cabin up in the mountains about an hour and a half outside of town. I'm headed there now. I may have something myself. I'll be at the Victoria.
So then we go back and I'm so excited, back to the insane coroner. And he's the singing sister is there, I think. And he's just cutting into a corpse with a saw, like humming and like having a grand old time. But and then it goes crazy because my favorite part is the sister's like, okay, so she's there to ask him if he can do a DNA test on the sperm that they found in her sister, and then that way they can try to identify who it is or whatever.
He actually gives the most logical explanation, which
he's like,
yeah, I can get like effectively what an RNA strand is, but I can't match that to anything because I don't have anything.
Yeah, he's like, we gotta have something to match it against, and she's like, okay.
Can you do a DNA test from the sperm they found inside of my sister's body?
I suppose we could. But there's one thing you need to find, as wise men say, and that's a match.
And then at the end of the scene, he explains that he does genetic engineering.
Which is why I was calling him Dr. Moreau earlier.
Yes, and wants to clone Elvis.
One day, very soon, yes. From a single strand of DNA, we will be able to bring anyone back. Howard Hughes, Disney, even the King.
I don't know if this was the writer / director who came up with all this backstory for this insane corner, or if he came up with
I think they were just like, we basically need you to be Dr. Moreau.
Well, because I mean, they came up with a set dressing. He has like a weird Elvis bust on his desk, and then he has a corpse in the background dressed in like the Elvis, like a skeleton, like hanging dressed in the Elvis suit. He's my favorite. I don't understand what his deal is, but I love him.
Elvis didn't die; he just went home.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's like playing God, creating a human life?
I'd say taking human life is more like playing God. I'm just being an artist doing my work, like Da Vinci.
Meanwhile, the other sister, Jessica, goes to investigate the hotel, and she like wanders into it, and then that's when she gets...
Hey, Tiny Lister!
Tiny Lister's here for like 2 scenes or whatever, but he's like the security for Byron, and he's like, what are you doing
It's
here?
not like he's not known as an actor at this time either. I guess he's struggled getting work or something.
He just didn't have a major, I don't know. Or maybe more of it got cut, who knows. But yeah, he doesn't have a major part in this, because he's not even one of the main henchmen.
No, well, he's like
he's just like security at the hotel, yeah.
Thanks.
What's the room number?
You know, that's just it. I forgot. I thought I knew it, but it's those darn slide cards. You know, they don't have the numbers on them. Thank you, though.
Anyway, so she has another vision that tells her that Gabby was there. Like, she sees Gabby, like, walking into that hotel room, so she knows she was there. Meanwhile, we go back, and Byron is at Michelle's, who is the other, is like a masseuse as well. She gives him a massage at one point. And she's there, and they're having sex, and I say having sex, he's like fondling her with a knife while she's tied in the bed.
That gets her going.
She's into it. She's into it.
Oh, you are so sexy.
And then, so he's doing that, and then meanwhile, Erica is in a car chase. His cronies are in a helicopter.
Yes. What is this?
Chasing her down a mountain road or whatever.
A crowded mountain road too. Yes. There's other drivers.
Yes. And then at the end of that scene, she drives off an embankment, and action rolls out of her car as it careens into a power station.
Yes.
And explodes.
Perfect.
Meanwhile, we cut randomly to the third sister doing her show with like angel backup dancers for no reason whatsoever.
Gotta fill time.
Yeah, absolutely. And like maybe that actress had like a burgeoning singing career she was trying to get off the ground.
That was the writer in her contract. She's like, you gotta add my stuff in there.
I guess it's the only thing. I don't know. Whatever.
I know what will be, but please save a miracle for.
But then we cut back and to where Byron is having sex with that one girl, and then he leaves and brings his henchmen in.
He brings in the not the Russian,
not the crazy
dude.
Russian guy. Yeah, the other one.
German, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't know, whatever.
Anyways.
Yeah, but not that guy. The other one, and he comes in and has sex with her and then kills her.
Yes.
For some reason, well, to tie off loose ends, but I don't know why. Well, we find out that basically they were killing her because she knew she had some information about like whatever. So they needed to tie up that loose end. But then I love Erica because Erica found out from that other guy at the chop shop about Michelle. So she goes there and she walks in right after they kill her. She walks in and just immediately picks a bloody knife up off the ground and is like, huh. And
Genius.
then walks into the room, looks her body is laying on the bed right there. She like, hello, Michelle, ah!
Hello? Michelle?
Yes.
Like, what are you
and
doing?
just right on top of it, cherry on top, cops walk in.
Immediately the cops walk in while she's holding the bloody knife standing over the body. It's amazing. So she gets thrown in jail now. We get another brief scene of the coroner being insane.
The human skull. It's an amazing thing, you know. The way it houses the brain. Which, by the way, most people use less than 10% of. Did you know the difference between genius and insanity is nearly immeasurable?
The crazy thing is, like, was she charged?
No. Well, they say that, so eventually once she gets thrown in jail, like, because they found her there, they had to hold her.
Yeah.
But then when they find sperm, the reason they say they knew she couldn't be involved was that the woman who died also had sperm in her, so she had sex and they somehow were able to time it to being exactly when she was killed, so they knew it couldn't be Erica who did. She could have been involved still. I don't know why.
They found sperm inside of her. The time of her death was the same time she had sex. So obviously somebody had their way with her and then killed her. They had to let me go.
Yes, she may not have been the one having sex with her, but she could have been there or whatever. But anyways, they're like, so it couldn't be you. So she just gets off. We have a really brief scene I only want to talk about because it's important. I thought it was very funny, where we're at the hospital and we find out that their dad is an insurance adjuster.
I still have a little pull.
That's because you're the world's best insurance investigator.
Yeah.
I thought he was like a cop or like a prosecuting attorney or something.
Insurance adjuster.
No, he's just an insurance adjuster. It's like, all right. And in that scene, he tells him, all right, this is getting dangerous. If they killed an informant, that means they're worried about people coming after them. You guys got to all carry guns.
Captain Martin said he would issue each of you a concealed weapon permit. You know where I keep my guns?
Go to my home and take my guns.
But it's so very dangerous. And I don't want to lose any of you.
So they come up with a plan. So they get their guns, but Jessica's the one you're talking about, is the only one that Byron doesn't know.
Yes.
The other two he's already met and knows they're related. So Jessica is like, well, what I can do, we need a blood sample from him. So what I can do is I'll go in there and pretend to be like a prostitute or whatever, so that he can hire me, and then I'll go up there and then I'll get the blood sample from him.
I don't like it.
I'll be fine. Plus, I have this.
Great.
And then I love that they make the Lord Byron joke because she sends him a letter that says Lord Byron on it.
Lord Byron, I have admired you from afar for as long as I can remember.
And then she like calls herself Medora Lee.
Medora Lee. The lady is a scholar.
Which I looked it up is like the daughter of Lord. It's somehow somebody related to Lord Byron. It's very complicated.
She also puts on a ridiculous fake accent.
Well, only Lord Byron and his sister can answer that.
Half-sister. Augusta and Byron had different mothers.
And do you have the same carnal desires as the poet himself?
Yes, but they do some, like, she creates this whole mythos, like, name based around Lord Byron.
You know the writers for this were just...
they thought they were very clever.
Jerking themselves
Yes, they
off.
thought they were very clever. But my favorite thing in this is that apparently she sends him a photo of her of like, here's what I look like. I've been admiring you from afar. And then we get a flash of it, and it's very clearly like a glamour shot that actress had gotten taken.
Yes.
It's her like laying in a bed, like posing for a photo.
That's
but
great.
it's so fucking funny because it's amazing.
There. It's perfect.
Yeah.
You look beautiful, Jess.
Thanks. Is there really a radio transmitter in this thing?
So then, as they're preparing her to go meet with him, I don't understand this. They have like spy shit, man. They like are prepping her. The reporter sister gives her a necklace that has like a recording device in it that can transmit like to them.
Is there really a radio transmitter in this thing?
Absolutely. I've used it many times myself on the job.
And then they give her a gold tooth with a needle in it?
Yes.
This is a small tooth with a tiny little needle in it. You bite down, it draws blood. You've got your DNA sample.
Or something.
Which is supposed to get like DNA or something.
Get his blood. Well, she's supposed to bite him, and it's supposed to like take a blood sample essentially. But I was like, okay, sure. Where did you get that? That's such a weird special thing to have. Okay.
You didn't get that in your journalism 101 toolkit?
Yeah, the blood collecting fake tooth. Yeah, that's a normal thing.
This is a small tooth with a tiny little needle in it.
But so she gets up there and they like talk, and like as this whole thing's going on, she keeps having flashes of the same things that he's doing with her happening with her sister, including this moment where we get this absolutely unhinged like back and forth flashes for like 20 seconds.
I was gonna have a seizure with that shit.
Exactly, dude. It's crazy. But then at the end of that, like as he's like making out with her, she like starts kissing his neck, and then she chomps him.
His response is great. Oh my! It seems you've pierced my flesh.
Ow! You pierced my flesh.
I'm getting a bad feeling.
Oh god. So then he's like, I'll be right back. And then she gets the tooth out and she puts it in a little case. And I'm like, get the fuck, just go, just run. And then as she's leaving, she goes down the same hallway her fucking sister did and sees the same laptop with the same shady business. Oh no, it says video message. That's right.
Yes.
And she clicks play on the video message and it turns on and it's him going,
I know who you are.
You don't know the magic word or whatever.
Newman!
You didn't say the magic word.
Please! God damn it!
He's like, I know who you are. And it's like, duh. And then he's behind her. And he realizes who she was. And then she pulls out her gun and tries to shoot him. But he has all the bullets.
Oh my god, it's like he's thought of everything.
How did he do that?
It's time for your blood to flow.
Looking for these.
When they were making out, he took her gun, unloaded all the bullets, and put it back in the whole like leg holster she had, all without her. All right, sure, fine, whatever.
Oh my god, what do we do? What do we do? He didn't say where they were taking. What do we do?
He doesn't have to. It's just like with Gabby. Everything's repeating itself.
The cliffs.
Anyway, so then they're taking her to be killed in the same space. They're going to the ravine, and the sisters realize because they were listening. They're like, "Oh, we don't know where she's going." Like, well, it's all repeating. They're going to the Hoover Dam or whatever. So they're going there, and he calls the dad calls the cops or something like that. I can't remember. So everybody's converging.
Yes.
At the Hoover.
There
Dam.
was a part where so like when he said get you know who my guns are, each one of you get my guns. It says the captain's gonna issue you all concealed carry permits.
Yes.
Which I'm like, normally that requires a course.
Yeah, they just did it in like the 30 minutes we didn't see in the movie.
Yes.
I guess Kyle, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, but they get there, and I love it all plays out the same, and then he calls her on the phone, and she's like, "You coward! You couldn't even kill me yourself." And he goes, "Ha! watch this. Helicopter.
Why is it on a helicopter? This seems like okay, this seems over the top.
Yes. Flies in, lands, and walks over from the helicopter. And then the sisters just roll up in their SUV, get out. By the way, the henchmen both have guns and are standing right there. The sisters get out, pull their guns on, and both aim them at Byron, who is holding their sister. And I'm like, well, the henchmen would just shoot you, and they don't. They just sit there. They're like, okay, fine. Anyways, and then as she's holding him, or as he's holding the sister, he said his phone starts ringing.
Aren't you gonna answer that?
And she's like, aren't you gonna answer that? And he's like, I guess you're right, I should answer that. Here. And he like throws her away from him. He answers the phone, and it is the voice of their dead sister.
What?
This had better be good.
Byron, I just called to bid you farewell.
What?
What? Magic, Kyle. Again, the end of this movie, and with her sister being psychic, this movie posits like ghosts, I guess, are real, or I don't know. Because yes, she's able. The sister calls from beyond the grave.
You're dead. No. You're dead.
And he gets so freaked out, he just stumbles backwards
and falls. There was a point where he was antagonizing her whenever she was held captive before the sisters showed up and everything. The level of hamminess that John Taylor has
unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
They know who you are.
They are my friends. I have the wealth. I hold the power. Bought and paid for, baby. I love capitalism. Don't you?
It's unbelievable.
I would have loved to. You can save your screaming and concerns for a prayer. I had to get that last one in.
You did, just at the deadline, right at the last minute. But yeah, and then so he falls off the cliff, falls for, again, an eternity. It's like insane how long he falls. His goons just book it. They're like, oh, let's get the fuck out of here. And they just run away.
Bye.
And then we get this incredible closing moment before or not the end of the movie, but at this scene where we get this like billowing backlit shot of the dead sister's ghost walking towards the camera as the music swells in, and she's like kind of looking seductive, and I'm like, what is happening here?
Okay.
Just all of the choices in this movie are insane, and I kind of love it. And then we get an incredible outro song. Well, then they go to the grave and they're like, "Oh, we're a family, yay, happy!" Even though our sister's fucking dead. And then the music comes in. The music, great, late '90s, early 2000s music. Absolutely incredible. You know, I forgot to mention this earlier, but you know what the visual style, the lighting, the cinematography also kind of reminded me of is like which people said this about, which I get that, but it kind of reminded me of like a one of those video point and click adventure games. You know what I mean? Like the super contrasty lighting.
You're like trying to open up your inventory on the bottom of the screen.
Yes. Yeah. Like the super contrasty lighting. Like in particular, the coroner's office reminded me of like when you go and like the light coming through the fans in the back. Like it just God, it looked like
it felt like
Phantasmagoria, was that one of them? Or
yeah, that's one.
That's one of the ones I think I was thinking of.
What was wasn't there a live action Lucas Arts one?
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, it reminded me of that a lot. But anyways, great song. I think this movie is good bad, but I could see an argument for them.
There's definitely it's good bad in regard to the high points are really high.
Yes.
But the low points are really boring.
Okay, I will say I wasn't bored watching this movie. I don't know.
It could also be like maybe I was just disjointed by the editing.
Okay.
I'll give it a good bad, but border.
Yeah, it is right on the edge. It's not like incredible. I was, like I said, the main thing for me was that I wasn't bored watching it, which is like the main thing that will make me say that something's bad. But it wasn't like outlandishly hilarious, but it had some good moments. Like again, the shots of them falling for an eternity are just incredible.
Your brain trying to follow it definitely is what gives it those good bad.
Well, and the reveal of her being psychic and then the sister's ghost, that being the way this all resolved is just insane.
Well, the whole process of them solving it, they basically just like a shot in the dark. It must be the Byron Lord guy.
Yeah,
there's nothing that really draws the attention.
No, it is what it is. It's a Cinemax movie, late night. That's mainly there because so they could put a bunch of boobs in it and be like, whoa, a sexy thriller. Like, yeah, okay, sure, but it's. Yeah, I would say it's good bad. That's it for this episode. As always, you can do us a giant favor. Head over to patreon.com/GBorBB. Support us there and get access to bonus content, including the same thing I said last time. Still the I forgot we're still in the same month.
Q&A. We've got bonus shorts.
And then she's like, Wade, why don't, was Wade's the other guy?
Yes.
She's like, Wade, why don't you, and Wade is a stone cold-blooded assassin, high-socked assassin. This motherfucker has killed somebody. I believe Wade has murdered a man and washed the life drain out of his eyes.
Wade, every time he got brought in to do something to the bully or whatever, man, you could see the bloodlust in his eyes.
Also on the verge of laughing, I feel like, the whole time.
Wade? Okay. Hey, you got some on your shirt.
That's right.
Yes, all that good
Bunch
stuff.
of crazy stuff.
Go check that out, patreon.com. I have a podcast called This Film Is It. We're talking about movies that are based on books. When this episode's out, our most recent will have been Dune 2, I think.
That's just the second half of the book.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. I'm messed up on timelines.
Are you ready for your desert planet holy war?
Yeah. But I believe it's that Red, White, and Royal Blue. I think it's Dune 2. I can't remember. But anyways, check that out anywhere you listen to podcasts. You could go to tpublic.com, search for Good Bad or Bad, Quantum Physics, get your merch. You did a thing, and then you do not have the merch on. Neither do I. So
I got Biz Library.
Different merch. And then I had another thing I was going to say. No, I don't.
Go listen to some Duran Duran.
Yeah.